running a household and running the household and running a teenager and trying to do this and that. That is what I do. You balance, you multitask, and you get at the end of the day, I have to get everything done. Believe it or not, I'm campaigning and someone still looks at me and say, hey, what's for dinner? And I have to still get it done every day. That's what you want, someone who you're going to send under the Golden Dome, who regardless of what's happening in their personal life, regardless of what's happening in DC they want to go and do a photo op for, regardless of what's going on, they're going to make sure the job gets done. And that is me. And also, the other thing that I would love for you to keep in mind is the people who are actually showing up, not just for this, but for all of them. It is really important for you to pay attention to the people who are not showing up for you at these live functions. Ask yourself, will they show up for you if you elect them into office? Thank you very much.
Okay, two quick stories. I was sitting in a seminar years ago, and the gentleman told this story, and it was about a 17th century philosopher named Edmund Burke. And some of you probably know this story, but Edmund Burke said that all it takes for evil to prevail in this world is for a few good people to do nothing. And it's not that we don't have good people in this country, in this state, or in this district. It's that a lot of those good people are busy raising their families, raising their kids, working their jobs, running their businesses, and they don't have the time to get up and stand in the fight. All this country needs is a few good people. I was over visiting another friend of mine who's about 1,000 times more successful than me last year, who, let's say he's a billionaire. And he runs charities all over the world, and he said, and I asked him, I said, why do you still go do what you do? You don't have to do anything. And he said, Brian, if you have a talent and an ability, and you have the opportunity to use that talent and ability to make the world a better place, then you have an obligation as a human being to give back to the world some of what the world gave you. And I have been very successful in my life. And the reason I'm running for Senate District 1 is because this is part of what my personal mission is, to give back to the state of Georgia and District 21 some of what I've done. So it's important who you vote for, that you remember that they need to have the ability, the knowledge, the negotiation power, everything it takes to get done what you want to get done. And I believe I'm that person, and I'm asking for your vote.
We appreciate you being a part of our presentation, and I'm going to turn it back over to Richard to introduce the next segment of our evening.
Okay, let's hear it for these three candidates. Yes. Thank you. Courage, that's what it's all about. Donald Trump is a man of courage, and I see a spark of courage here displayed tonight, so thank you, candidates. We're next going to move into the county commission seat, post 1. We have 2 candidates, and we're going to have them introduced by David Oles. David, would you come up? We have, first of all, Karen Bosch. Karen, could you come up? Let's give Karen a warm welcome.
Karen Bosch is a dedicated public servant with over 25 years of political experience focused on building a better Cherokee County, including service as the former Cherokee County Commissioner. A lifelong Republican, she has been actively involved in the CCRP Executive Committee and has held roles as Precinct Chair, Poll Manager, and Poll Watcher. Beyond her public service, Karen is an accomplished professional. A small business owner for over 15 years and held executive positions in corporate America, founding and managing several nonprofit organizations dedicated to motorcycle safety and awareness for the line work trade. Karen and her husband collaborated with the U.S. Senate and congressional members establishing National Lineman Appreciation Day on April 18th of every year. Karen believes with her proven record of action and deep understanding of our county government operations, she's prepared to hit the ground running from day one. Please welcome Karen.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I know it's kind of late tonight, so I'll try to make my comments brief so we can get on with the rest of the program. So I'll try to squeeze in 25 years worth of public service in just a few moments. But I moved to Georgia in 1979, and I moved to Cherokee County in 1995. And pretty much as soon as I came into Cherokee County, I started working for the Republican Party in what they described. I was a precinct chair. I was a poll manager. I worked on the executive committee and fundraising. That was important to me because I believed in the values that the Republican Party adheres to. Pretty much after, once I got involved in the party, then I actually started attending commission meetings for quite some time, planning commission meetings. I was asked to be on the zoning board of appeals, which I did for 2 years. And then I also, I spoke a lot about what was happening in the county because it didn't take long to see that we really were growing in such a way that I don't think there was a lot of planning involved. And so I spoke about impact fees, and this was as a citizen. Impact fees, I think, was a great way to actually mitigate the cost of what was happening in the county. So the taxpayers weren't paying it all, but the developers were. I was actually asked to be on the 2000 SPLOST committee, which I did. I think that's another way to mitigate the cost to the land property owners by having that extra penny that can help us to buy properties, infrastructure, and the things that we need. And we did it then, and a lot of the parks that we're actually enjoying right now was because we were able to buy that property then. And so I think that's important in forethought in any kind of local government. Then in 2004, I was honored to be the county commissioner for District 3. That was the Bells-Ferry area at that time. And as soon as I got into office, I realized, in a little bit of history of Cherokee County very quickly, is that back in the early 2000s, there really wasn't a whole lot of planning going on. I thought that was important. I think the planning to look at the land use and how we're going to grow in the county is important because I think it's continuity for the taxpayers, and I also think it's transparency. So I worked a lot of hours on a couple of major plans in my area, which is the Bells-Ferry LCI, Livable Centers Initiative, and the Oak Grove Master Plan. Again, that's just planning that I think is important, and I think as a county commissioner, we need to adhere to those plans because those are done with a lot of public input. They're done with a lot of thought. What we have right now in Cherokee County is a pretty detailed plan. It's taken into account things that have been zoned already that hasn't even come out of the ground. It's also taken into account what we want to look like, and it has character areas. Those I think are important because I honestly don't think that every area of Cherokee County needs to be developed. I also don't think every intersection in the county needs to have a CVS or a gas station. I just don't think that's the way it works. Cherokee County is a pretty vast area, 421 square miles, and we have a lot of different types of areas. One area of Town Lake doesn't have to look like Freeholm. So I'm a big proponent of that, and I think that can happen in the county if you have somebody that understands how the government works and understands how the laws and regulations that have to take place in order to make some of these comprehensive land use plans, and just what we're kind of up against as we try to develop the county and as we try to be responsible about that. In 2008, I voted for the homestead exemption freeze. If you know what that is, basically you're in the know. For the county is one of the higher parts of your local government is your M&O, which is your maintenance and operation. So if you applied for your homestead exemption and were approved, that M&O rate stays the same. Your assessment might go up, and of course as we grow and we build bigger, nicer houses, our assessments are going to go up a bit. But that when your tax is calculated on that portion of your tax bill, the M&O, it doesn't go up. So, those were just another area that I thought was important to try to help the taxpayer and the property owners. I think it's also important that we bring in the business and industry that we need because because that helps offset a lot of the property tax that, we have to pay. They don't use as much services as residents do, so you need those services in the county to help offset that. One of the things that the county commissioner also does is there's a whole lot of important issues that you have to decide on. Some of them are tough, and I've tackled those tough issues when the fire department had a bunch of problems, and it was a serious situation. They were bringing in leadership from Atlanta, and it would have changed the way the fire department looked. I actually fought that fight, and today our fire department has an ISO of 2, and it also is then awarded the EMS of the Year award. Those are all important things, I think, for citizens of the county. Immigration was another issue I tackled. Then I also tackled what I thought was important, the 10 Commandments. When Chairman Byrd decided to put that into the Justice Center, we were being sued, other counties were being sued because they didn't want the 10 Commandments. ACLU was suing a lot of the counties. I said yes, I think that's important. And I'm sharing all that with you so you know who I am and what I actually have stood for, because there's a lot of candidates in the race, and I think it's hard to decide, are they going to do what they say they're going to do? And I think my record stands for that. I think you can see that, and I hope as we answer some of the questions, we'll see that as well. I knew that getting 25 years in 3 minutes was going to be tough, so sorry. Thank you.
Okay, and let's make sure to speak right into the microphone so everyone can hear real well. And so now we have Cameron Holloway come up, please. Let's give him a warm welcome.
Cameron Holloway is an 8th-generation Cherokee County resident, small business owner, conservative, and born-again Christian. His family from the Free Home community helped found Orange Church here nearly 200 years ago. He holds a bachelor's degree from the University of North Georgia and a Master's of Public Administration from Arkansas State, specializing in public management. Cameron has experience in local and federal government, focusing on tax compliance and administration, assisting small to medium businesses and large corporations and local governments with tax issues. He co-founded a janitorial company with contracts across Georgia and also runs a small accounting firm. His campaign emphasizes no empty promises, full transparency, no excuses, and complete dedication to Cherokee County. Welcome, Cameron.
Good evening. I feel like I'm about to make the announcement at church. I want to thank the Assembly tonight for organizing this event, for the invitation. I really appreciate the hospitality. Thank you, Mr. Jordan, for being my contact here and being here for me the last couple of weeks. I appreciate your time. My name is Cameron Holloway. I'm a 8th generation Cherokee County resident, local business owner, conservative, supposed J.D. Vance look-alike, you be the judge, but most importantly, a born-again Christian. I'm a local business owner, as he said. I have, with a business partner, a janitorial business. We focus on servicing commercial spaces. Additionally, I have a small, just me, outsourced accounting firm. I do the help accounting functions and do the books for a lot of small businesses and self-employed people as well. So, a lot of people have asked me, the most popular question I've gotten, sure Karen too, why are you getting into this? Somebody asked me if I was drunk when I decided if I wanted to get into this. It's a fair question, but honestly, I love the community I grew up in and I have a heart to serve. Simple as that. Prior to my time as a business owner, I worked in local government and then later federal government where you heard him introduce me. I worked in tax compliance and administration, worked with a lot of municipalities ranging from large cities, small towns, county governments, boards of commission, water authority, you name it, I probably worked with them. Prior to that, I worked, put myself through school, undergraduate, graduate degree. And so I'm proud of the hard work I've done, and I built businesses on integrity, honesty, transparency, and quite frankly, I don't have any business with the county. I have nothing to gain, nothing to lose by being your independent mind for District 1. So what makes me different from everyone else? There's a lot of us running, and well, other than being the youngest one, proud of that, I heard the one chuckle in the back. I appreciate it. So other than that, I think I represent a new generation, a breath of fresh air in what is otherwise just a continuous, ongoing cycle of the same old, same old. And I think we're sick of the same old, same old. I want to represent that change. I want to represent that independent voice because I'm just simply not afraid. It's how I was raised. If you have something you want to get fixed, you do it. You roll up your sleeves, you build coalitions, you build relationships. Is my time up?
Yep.
My time's up, but anyway, my rocked me a little bit. But anyway,
Sorry.
but anyway, that's me, Cameron Holloway, a little bit about me. I look forward to the discussion tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Cameron. And then, did Jonathan Brown come in? We were expecting Jonathan in. I don't see him here. Maybe the rain deterred him. Here in Georgia, they say that 3 drops of rain will even keep a Baptist out of church. But and you know there are more Baptists in Georgia than there are people. You know that. Just a little FYI. So I will go ahead and turn this over to Nathaniel now as the moderator.
Thank you.
Take over here.
All right, and then once we finish up with this portion of the program tonight, our Sergeant at Arms are going to be handing out paper ballots. We're going to be voting on these 2 races. One of the things about the GRA is in order for our organizations to endorse, the candidate has to get 2/3. 2/3 of the participating members have to vote in favor of endorsing that candidate. And the other thing is we always have no endorsement as an option. So even if there's only one candidate running in a race, there's always 2 options for you to vote on, the candidate or no endorsement. So keep that in mind as we approach the voting here shortly. Since we only have 2 candidates, this should move pretty quickly. The first question that was submitted from the audience, paper ballots is a nonpartisan issue. Do you support Trump's executive order 14248 for paper ballots, hand counted at the precinct level, and will you advocate for it in Georgia? You first, Karen.
Absolutely, and I believe that Cherokee County can be a leader in that. I think there's things at the county level that we can do. Absolutely, there's no other way to do it. If we don't have fair and free elections, we're done as a country. We have to.
Thank you.
Absolutely, I think just in integrity, in election integrity, we have to do what it takes to protect that. It's been at risk for several years now, and I think we have a solution if we choose to fix it. Additionally, an executive order is an executive order. You have to follow that, like it or not. In this case, I agree with it, but that's just how it works.
Thank you. So here's a question that's similar to what was asked to the state Senate candidates. Since you as a county commissioner will have authority over appointing different boards, will you be voting for equal number of Republicans and Democrats to ensure nonpartisan governing boards? Why or why not?
So I may take a bit of a different approach. I am a conservative. I would vote for conservatives, but I do believe Cherokee has people that believe different than me, and it's about 30–35%, depending on the election. We've been consistently having a nonpartisan board electing Republicans and Democrats. Not really ideal, I don't think, but I think it's representative of the county. That's what the protocol is, and I would continue to do that, even though I am a conservative, and I would vote conservative policies in at the county level.
Thank you.
I believe that we absolutely, if it's 75% of this county that votes Republican, that board needs to be 75%. Because, I mean, I think we're in the right crowd here at a Republican deal that there's not a Democrat that would do that for us. We have to be strong, and we have to protect the values that we care about. Without it, you have nothing. I mean, I understand we have other people in the county, and as a county commissioner, we have to look at a lot of different aspects of who's living in the county, but when it comes to that, 75% of this county votes Republican. That's what that board should be.
Thank you. How do you plan to respond to the regional commission's desire to make Ball Ground Airport a regional airport?
You know, I think Cherokee County has an airport. I know that we're expanding that airport. That I would have to look at. I don't really have a lot of information on it. However, I know that when you start expanding airports, you bring in, no doubt, you're going to bring in more. You bring in more businesses, but you also bring in a lot of additional services that's needed, and there you come with your, gas stations and things that maybe are not needed. So I really don't have the information on it, but I would be more inclined to expand than I know we are Cherokee County's airport.
Thank you.
So I agree. I think we need a little bit more information. I would like a little more information, but I think we have more pressing issues in this county than to focus on an airport. If that's the will of the people, that they want expansion of that airport, I'd be glad to represent that. But personally, I don't find that to be the biggest pressing issue of this county right now.
Thank you. What do you believe, do you believe Cherokee County is overregulated, and what would you do about it?
I do. As a conservative, I think most of us in here believe in smaller government. I'm no exception. One instance I find interesting in Cherokee County is its policy pertaining to alternative dwelling units. Specifically, I had someone ask me what my position was, and she explained that her elderly mother that she cares for, she still has her mind, she still goes about her day, she is well prepared to do what she wants. But she's aging, and she's getting to the point in life where the transition to live closer to family is necessary. I think a lot of us in here can relate to that personally. And right now, the county only regulates that an alternative dwelling unit be a mobile home or a trailer, rather than maybe a tiny home or some other dwelling sort of that. So I think if you own your property, you have rights. And I think you ought to be able to do a little bit more with your investment if you want to. That's one instance. I could go on, but for time's sake, I'll get back to time.
Thank you.
I believe that when the county manager, when I think Jerry Cooper was there, I think that the county didn't have the regulations. One of the things that was happening is that we were reviewing a lot more than we were approving. And for a very long time, that was the case. I feel like perhaps we may have slipped back in to having a lot of reviewing rather than approving. I know people who have I've been told there's individuals who have tried to get electric to a pole barn, and it's taken a year. They've had to hire different engineers. That's ridiculous. And I agree. These accessory dwellings, I think those are important as well, and I'm glad that Cameron brought that up because, with the cost of housing, it's exactly what we need to do. And I know that Cherokee County is actually taking a look at that because I've talked with Margaret, and that's some changes that I think we're looking at making.
Great. Thank you. If you could request a confidential question to be asked of any of your opponents in this race, not just the two of you, but anyone in the race, what would you ask? What would the question be? You go first, Alan.
Well, quite frankly, I wouldn't. As it pertains to policy policy in this county, I think if you're discussing that, you need to have an opinion on the record. Anything else, I don't think is really necessary to be behind closed doors. Maybe I'm kind of the oddball on that, but what I've done, and Karen introduced herself to me at a political event a month or two ago, but I've tried to reach out, and I have reached out to everyone, including the Democrat in the race, in friendship, and just saying, look, you know, I want to run this clean. It's the way I was raised. I don't want to stoop down to that level. I won't. If I had to win a race because I'm slinging mud, I don't want to win. I think this kind of question may take us down that path. I want to avoid that. That's my commitment to the other candidates, and I think Cherokee deserves that.
Thank you.
I agree, and when that question was asked, I said that I didn't want to participate because it feels like a gotcha question, and I don't think it has any place. You know, what voters are interested in, they're interested in hearing about what we can do for them and how we can take Cherokee County forward.
Sounds good. Do you support a 1/2 of 1 cent T-SPLOS tax on the next ballot dedicated to roads for improvement in Cherokee County's road infrastructure?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, from what I'm hearing, it's looking at maybe perhaps as much as $600 million that we could bring in with that. You know, we need to do that. There's no way that we could actually, I think the last SPLOS, just the penny, was almost over 400 million, if that's correct. That might not be correct. Anyhow, the point is, yes, I do support that because I think it's important. It's the only way that we're going to be able to have the infrastructure in this county that we need, and it also spreads it out over everybody that comes into the county. We're not asking the taxpayers or the businesses to support just that.
I do not support that. I think as a conservative, we have an obligation to be against tax increases. While I realize what this goes toward, I say we've had the SPLOS funds. What good has it done? We have work that is done. It's tremendously slow. It's frustrating. Adding to that, I think, is an unjust burden on the taxpayer. Just as I have a position similar to the millage rate, unless just dire circumstances warranted that, I would vote down any tax increase.
Okay, thank you. All right, I'll give you 1 minute closing statements. What would be your 1 minute closing statement?
I appreciate everybody being here. I know it's gotten very late tonight, and I appreciate your time in considering your vote. You know, one of the reasons I kind of went through the little litany of what I've done is because it's very difficult in a campaign. You get a whole lot of promises, you get a whole lot of people wanting to do things, and some can be done, most cannot, the way they're being promised. My campaign is really on showing you what I've done, who I am, and what I'll continue doing for Cherokee County. And I think it's important that there is no learning curve, that I really do hit the ground running. I think we can take Cherokee County to where we want to go. I think it's going to take that kind of leadership and understanding of how the local government works. And I appreciate it, and I would welcome your support. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming out tonight. I've enjoyed my evening. I've enjoyed getting to meet all of you. I hope I can meet a lot of you after. I agree with Karen. I think experience and understanding is necessary in this role. Like I said, I've worked in local, federal government. I understand how policy works, and I understand you can't go in here guns blazing and just expect to get stuff done. I think there are some promises being made with the lack of understanding of how the system actually works. But I do disagree and don't want to associate experience with familiarity. And so that's where I'm a little different. I don't have that experience serving in public prior elected office. I respect the work Ms. Bosch has done, but I just think maybe it's time to look at the next generation, vote in a new leader, and then we can prosper in Cherokee County. I want to work hard for you. I want to earn your vote. I don't want to buy it. I want to earn it on merit. But it's really what I had to say. Thank you guys again for tonight. I've really appreciated the invite. Thank you.
I'm going to turn it back over to Richard as we prepare for our paper ballots.
Yes, okay, so let's give them a round of applause once again. Thank you for stepping up and running for this wonderful position that is so critical to the future of Cherokee County. I moved here 30 years ago, and I got here as fast as I could, okay? This is a wonderful place to live. We are now going to have the Sergeant at Arms pass out the ballots. They're going to pass out a blue one for the Senate race, and I believe it's a pink one for the Commissioner's race. And so we would want you to hold up your golden card. That means you're credentialed as a GRA member, and you will receive, you can hold mine up as well, you will receive a ballot. It's going to be, and then you just write the name of your favorite candidate or your endorsed candidate, one that's here today, or if that person was not here today, you may want to write no endorsement. That's the process in this endorsement convention. So, fortunately, we were able to hear from some select candidates, and I thought some very good responses. And I'm very impressed with what's coming to the forefront here. So let me say, again, we're going to do this at the same time, so you'll receive two different colors, the blue and the pink. The blue is for Senate, which one of the three senatorial candidates you believe would best represent you, and then pink for commission. We've got the two commission candidates, and I think everyone you've written down notes, and I think I've got a message coming up from the assistant here. Yeah, I was reminded by a consummate project manager not to fold your cards. It'll just slow the process down. So do not just put it down or just have it face down. So let's go ahead and get those out, Sergeant at Arms. And by the way, while we're doing this, I failed to mention that one of the most critical roles at this convention is Madam Secretary. We have Sandy Doherty. She's multitasking. She can do hospitality, and she's got secretarial skills. So thank you, Sandy, for that. We didn't have room, and we got such a small stage, so thank you for sitting down. Let's give her a round of applause. Let's hurry up and get those done. As soon as you're ready, just raise your hand. Okay, back in the back, we need some ballots back there. I need ballots myself. Mr. Sergeant at Arms.
Blue for Senate.
Blue for Senate, pink for commission. Need one up here too. Mr. Sergeant at Arms, I need to speak to you as well.
What was commissioners again?
These two spoke. Those are like ones that didn't.
God, yeah, you. Thank you.
Okay, the Sergeant at Arms is collecting these. We will have Marcia and Honey. Have y'all received your ballots? Okay. Honey has not received her ballots. Okay, as they're finishing up those, they'll be heading back to the kitchen to do the counting. Any of the candidates that would like a GRA member that you think is trustworthy can go back and watch the count if you so choose.